very well be the new era of Tata Motors because the features that now come with the Nexon, not even the Koreans can boast of. Well, not just yet. And the styling elements, they're not even present on the current Tata flagship. Welcome to the beautiful city of Jaipur, where I tell you more about the updated Nexon for 2023. First impressions, it is extremely striking to look at, more like Venue Who. I'm sorry, but if you're considering buying the Maruti Suzuki Brezza, I am totally judging you right now.
Just one look at it and you would agree that as compared to the older Nexon's intimidating appearance, this one exudes sophistication.
Now you'll notice that the key of the Nexon remains unchanged, but when you press the unlock button, magic happens, and the magic comes in the form of this welcome lighting sequence. And that also makes you realize that the lighting elements for the very first time are split on a Tata Nexon. I quite like looking at the rear of the Nexon. Can't say the same about a lot of things. Never mind, what I really like here is this design for the spoiler. It is a lot longer. It sits really well. It extends this sloping roof a lot better. And that is for a reason as well. It now conceals the wiper element. And what has also been changed is the length of the wiper arm, which means that the sweep area across the rear windscreen is a lot bigger as compared to the previous Nexon. Also, if you notice, the HSL, the high stop lamp, has been placed between the Tata logo and this connected LED light strip, which means the visibility through the rear windscreen is a lot better. This lighting element, this lighting bar, remains on as long as the car is functioning, so it functions like a DRL. One thing that could be a challenge to a lot of people who are experiencing the Nexon for the very first time is finding the switch to the boot lid. You have to play around a little bit before you finally figure out that the switch is hidden here. What you would notice is that Tata Motors has added a 9th speaker to the Nexon. So there are 8 speakers, well, 8 audio components. There are 4 speakers and 4 tweeters. But now there is a subwoofer that sits in this boot. And the audio experience is so very well enhanced, because when you're stuck in traffic, what do? You listen to your favorite tunes. And that takes us to the inside of the cabin.
Stepping inside the Nexon truly unlocks a distant experience.
Now, if you've been paying close attention to the exteriors of the Nexon, you might have noticed that there is a camera that sits on the front and also 2 cameras that sit under the outside rear view mirrors. Now, sum that up and it only means one thing. The Nexon now gets a 360-degree camera with a 2D and 3D animation available to the screen. Also, that doubles up as blind spot monitor when you indicate left or right. Really helpful when you're driving it in those tight urban situations. Now, talking about the screen itself, boy oh boy, 10.25 inches, but it is such a great screen. Low latency and high contrast ratios, which means this feels almost identical to your smartphone device or maybe your smart TV that sits in the middle of your living room.
While the camera output matches competitors in the segment, it falls short on our desired clarity.
Now the driver also gets a new screen, 10.25 inches as well. Lots of customization, lots of views.
This high-definition screen is available in the Fearless and the Fearless Plus trims of the Nexon and has excellent readability. And within it lies my favorite addition to the features list. It can now display Google Maps via Android Auto and Apple CarPlay.
Now all of that can be changed using this view button on the steering wheel. Speaking about the steering wheel, so it is a 2-spoke design, leather wrapped. Not really a fan of these 2-spoke steering wheels, and there is an additional challenge that I've noticed while driving the car. When you need to press the horn, say suppose your hands are in the 10-2 position, you have to bring them down to press the horn like this. But the steering wheel boasts of something really interesting. Ladies and gentlemen, say hello to India's first illuminated logo on a steering wheel. Now, as soon as you hop into the rear bench of the Tata Nexon, you notice that you sit a little higher as compared to the front 2 seats, and that is because of the stadium light seating that is provided. The bench obviously is really comfortable. It is quite wide, maybe not wide as the Safari, but then as compared to the other cars in its segment, it is really comfortable. It also remains to be extremely practical because you can certainly store your big 1-liter bottles in the doors and also store them in these 2 cup holders that have been provided in the central armrest. What Tata Motors has added here are two charging points. Finally, Tata Motors. So you now have a Type A and a Type C charging port. What has also been added here is a 3-point seat belt for the middle passenger. Quite good. But somehow and very strangely, they have completely omitted adding a headrest restraint for the middle passenger. That is quite strange because Tata Motors is known for being safety focused. Obviously, this particular variant does get 6 airbags. Apart from that, there are no pockets behind the front seats, which means when I'm charging my phone, I have to leave it on the rear bench, and that means that my phone tends to move around as the car rotates. But apart from that, quite a pleasant place to be in. I extremely love the color that they've used. It is really enjoyable to be in this cabin. It feels like I'm seated in a business class lounge. I mean, look at it on the door cards. It's on the seat. Wow, it feels really premium. Very happy with it.
It's pleasing to the eye and also comfortable inside. But how is the driving experience?
Now, if you're looking for a diesel-powered compact SUV, you would be glad to know that the Tata Nexon still offers one. You have a 1.5-litre 4-cylinder turbocharged diesel, quite good in terms of the torque delivery, also extremely efficient, great highway mile-munching capabilities. However, the only gripe that I have is the lack of a more sophisticated automatic transmission. Driving this 6-speed manual, what I've realized is that the clutch travel still remains to be extremely excessive, which means when you're driving it in traffic, you will have to exercise your left leg. And also the throws, although they are now a lot smoother, they still are excessively long. So it still feels like you're driving one of those old Tata Safaris. But let's quickly sample the petrol and check how that performs. Now there is a 7-speed dual clutch automatic as well, and boy oh boy does that elevate the driving experience, because the car is a lot more quicker. It is extremely great in terms of the response and the driving experience. Well, it is no sports car definitely, but it is a lot better. There are also additional benefits with this particular unit that is being used with the Nexon. So this transmission unit is a lot more lighter in terms of its construction because it is a smaller unit, because of which the fuel efficiency it still remains to be quite frugal. A lot of people associate dual clutch automatics to be quite thirsty. This one, yes, it is thirsty as compared to an AMT, but not as bad as you would expect it to be. So you do hear the engine inside the cabin. It is not as refined as maybe the naturally aspirated K15C that the Brezza uses. But having said that, the Brezza, we all know it lacks a lot of power, totally lackluster in terms of how it drives. This one, so much better. The driving experience just makes me so happy because I feel a lot more connected with the car. And the Nexon has always been a great car to drive, alright. It is heavy, so it sits and it rides extremely well. The tires are quite wide. The steering wheel feels a lot more connected. You do have response. It is very well weighted. It also adds weight as you gather speed. Other benefits of the Nexon continue to remain. So the ride quality, extremely good. I mean, we've been driving it around Jaipur, so in the city, outside the city, highways, and also encountering a lot of potholes. And the way that this deals with bad roads, it is so mature, almost feels like a 30 or a 40 lakh rupee SUV. We are currently on a very well paved section of road, but right here onto my left is a section where there is no tarmac at all. And with the Nexon, there is nothing to worry about because the suspension just deals with it in such a mature fashion. There's hardly any telling inside the cabin that we are driving on a road that does not exist. And that is, I think, the beauty of the Nexon, because yes, it is a compact SUV that is front wheel driven, but unlike the rest of its competition, it is extremely mature in the way that it tackles these sort of situations. Sort of feels like a rally car from behind the steering wheel.
It excels in its core functions while introducing new features and styling which many would refer to as a mini Harrier or even a Desi Urus.
The fight for the second largest automotive manufacturer in India only keeps intensifying by the day. Obviously, you have Tata Motors and Hyundai trying to compete for the same spot. Now, for the longest time, Tata Motors, in fact, for the last 2 years, they have posted really healthy growth figures and they have kept Hyundai at bay. And that gap has narrowed down extensively, especially after Hyundai introduced the Exter. But Tata Motors, they are in no mood to give up on that second spot, and that is exactly why the facelifted Nexon exists. Not only is it planning to take on the venue, but also plans to eat into the Creta's share, because it does get those sort of premium features, and it is also quite similar in terms of the dimensions. So that is what we think of the Nexon. That is all for today. We had a really good time driving this thing around in Jaipur. Really impressive, quite striking to look at. A lot of people have stopped, taken photos of the car. What do you guys think? Do let us know in the comments below. Let us get that conversation started. We will obviously have a lot of follow-up stories coming with the Nexon, comparisons, price analysis, and all of those things. But in the meantime, I want you guys to stay subscribed to Top Gear India, and also make sure that you drive safe. And I will see you later. Bye-bye.